Hi, everyone online. Hi, everyone in person. It's really nice to see everybody here, familiar faces and some new faces, so welcome. We usually start on our backs, and so as I look around the room, everyone here is on their back. So you can start on your back. wouldn't that be like, come on, we're gonna stand up? I would never do that. Well, I might do that, but not today. So we'll start on our backs. You can let your knees bend. If you're at home and you wanted to grab a blanket or a little prop to put underneath your head and neck to support your head, neck, and mid back, go for it. Of course, if you prefer to sit, you can always come up, sit in a chair or find a comfortable seated shape. And with that, we'll be quiet for a little bit. Just intentionally slowing down. Gentle reminder to yourself that you have total agency and control over your practice. So if something does not feel safe or supportive, feels really uncomfortable, please continually check in with yourself. Do what you need to do to feel safe and comfortable. And we intentionally slow the bones, still the bones, hold the skeleton nice and calm. Today, we're going to take a little time to feel the ground beneath us. So feeling the surface that you're on, and knowing that that surface connects all the way into the foundation of the building or your house. And that foundation anchors into the earth. So we all come back to the stability and strength of the earth beneath us. And giving our bones, our skeletons, and our tissues some time to release. Letting the earth hold us up. So as we're able to practice letting go a little bit, over time, little bit, we let go a little more. And then feeling and noticing whatever you're feeling and noticing. And as you're feeling and noticing, where do you feel your breath? We're intentionally holding our skeletons really still, giving ourselves the opportunity to feel your breath. Observing how your breath then moves through and moves your body. Really nothing to do, only connect to the ground, to the earth, and breathe. If you're feeling pretty calm, feeling pretty comfortable, you might explore lengthening your breath gently. Kind of pulling the exhale a little longer. Inhaling a little longer. Just letting your breath flow through your body. 3 more breaths. And acknowledging your breath. You might say hello to the next exhale. It's always nice to show gratitude for the inhale and the exhale. And then shifting gears and bringing your awareness to engaged breathing. So we talk about engaged breathing almost every class, where when we exhale, we can feel the abdominal muscles contract. It's like that deeper hug feeling. And when we inhale, there's an eccentric contraction. The abdominal muscles lengthen and there's still tone. So let's just take a couple moments to feel this breath, because I'm going to assume that you're going to have this connection to this toned feeling with your breathing for the next 40 minutes as we practice together. So as we move through different yoga postures and exercises, we want to come back to this feeling and check in. Okay, so breathing with tone, inhale and exhale. Fabulous. Then let's bring your arms up towards the ceiling. So if you're not on your back, go ahead, flip around on your back, bend your knees, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Rotate your palms so they're facing each other, and let your arms get nice and heavy feeling in the back of the socket. So that'd be like if your arm were drawing into the floor. You can get really stiff and lock your elbows. And then using the strength of your abdominals to stabilize your spine. Try not to move your spine or poof your chest, and take your arms out like T's to the floor. And then right before they hit the floor, pull them up to the ceiling. So we're going to stabilize the spine using core strength. And then we're going to move the shoulder blades. See if you can feel your shoulder blades moving and your spine stable. 2 more. You're going out wide into a T, opening your chest. You might imagine you're pulling some weight. And then when your arms come back down to the floor, just let them hover right off of the floor. And then you can reach out and pause, bring some attention to your back posterior body. And then right between your shoulder blades, the back of your heart. So from the back of the heart, underneath the shoulder blade, out the back of the arm through your knuckles. So that posterior back arm, nice and strong, reaching out. 2 breaths. Reach, 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 reach your fingertips out. And keeping the back of the ribs in your awareness, float and pull your arms back up towards the ceiling. And then stretch your arms overhead like you were reaching for something behind you. And try not to pop your ribs up off the floor, and then pull your arms back up towards the ceiling and maybe all the way down, tap the earth. Back up to the ceiling, reach overhead like you're going to grab something. Try really hard not to move your rib cage. Can you keep your spine really heavy on the floor as you float your arms? Next time your arms are overhead, reaching back, reach, reach, reach. And then take 2 full exhales. Remember that engaged tone feeling of abdominals with your breath. And then with an exhale, bring your arms back up towards the ceiling and pause. Press your palms up to the ceiling and pull your knuckles down to get a little bit more into your wrists. And then bring your knees up over your hips. So I'm going to do like a supine tabletop here. Okay, so if you are on your back, well, you are on your back and you had to do tabletop. Can you feel this shape? And we're going to use the floor for feedback. So you can feel the back of your head, ears, level with your shoulders. So you can feel the back shoulders symmetrical and level with the ribs. So back ribs and your back hips, back of the pelvis. And you feel a connection, your tailbone rolling out. And just hang out here for a couple breaths because we're going to use this feeling as muscle memory in about 3 breaths. So hang out for 3 breaths. Engaged breathing. What does that feel like here? And then recognize, feel your exhale. And let all the limbs come back down. Constructive rest on your back. Feel the earth. Let go into the earth and take 2 breaths. Notice what you notice. This practice of noticing, being aware. And then when you feel your next exhale, we'll roll on up to sitting. And from sitting, we'll roll right over into tabletop. So remember that feeling from that last table on your back? We're going to use that for muscle memory. All right. We just don't get the floor for feedback. So I don't know about you. I feel it's a little more challenging. We're also bearing weight in the wrists and the shoulders. So good old fashioned table, strong hands. So arms underneath the shoulders. Now, if this bugs your wrists, walk your hands out in front of you a little bit. And remember, you can always adjust by coming down on your forearms. Okay. Now, proprioception, feeling your body in space, is practice. Okay. So ears. Are your ears symmetrical over your shoulders, or is your head dropping? Are your shoulders in line with your ribs, or are your ribs dropping? Your ribs in line with your hips, or are your front hips dropping? Okay. Give yourself a moment to try and feel this out. It's practice. And then imagine your spine going up to the ceiling. So remember when you were on your back, we let the spine go into the floor. So we're reversed. We're going to let the back of the head and the spine and the back hips go up. So try not to let your spine fall to the floor with gravity. And then hold your skeleton really steady and notice 2 breaths. And then let's wake up your wrists and just walk your hands back and out and around a little bit. So you're just shifting the load of weight around. I'll give you that gentle reminder that you want to stay connected to your core as you walk your hands around. This is still a core wake up. Still nice and strong through those core muscles. You can put your hands down nice and light. You could flip your palms and walk on your knuckles a little bit. But holding things together nice and stable. I'll be quiet and we'll do this for about 10 more seconds, warming up. And then come on back and build your tabletop. Give yourself a moment to find that place of strength. Can you feel the upper back now, back of the heart, underneath the shoulder blades, down the back of the arms into your fingers? So I'll say it again, back of your heart, under the shoulder blades, down your arms into your hands. If you need more challenge, curl your toes and float your knees off the ground a little bit to floating table. Great. 3 breaths. And then lower your knees. Great. And sit back. So you can sit back if it works on your feet. You can curl your toes and get a big stretch through the arches of your feet and just put your bum on your heels. And bring your shoulders up over your hips and sit up. If this does not work on your feet, you can come to kneeling. You can tuck or point your toes, I should say, and sit back like that. You can come to crisscross applesauce. You could stand up for this. We're gonna work with shoulder blades for a moment. So you wanna just have your lower body stable and comfortable, all right? So we're going to take your right arm out. So before we go to downward facing dog, we're going to work a little bit with just how the shoulder blade and the arm rotate. Okay. So when you start to take your right arm up, see if you can feel your shoulder blade slide up your back. And then when you take your right arm down, see if you can feel the shoulder blade slide down. We'll just do one more. Everyone feel your shoulder blade here? Yeah? Awesome. They're kind of tricky to feel sometimes. I think it took me like 5 years to believe I had shoulder blades. All right, we're going to add a piece. So when you take your arm up now, roll your arm away from you. So you're going to externally rotate your arm. And when you externally rotate your arm, your shoulder blade will scoop in a little bit. Okay, so shoulder blade slides up and then there's a little scoop feel. And then lower your arm. We'll go over to the left side. Now, remember engaged breathing. We're trying to keep your core, abdominals on. So we're not moving the rib cage uncontrollably like this. Okay, so we're trying to keep things in midline, symmetrical. So left arm. See if you can feel that left shoulder blade go up and down. And then you know what's coming on this side. So when you're ready, adding that external rotation. You take the arm up, it rolls away, and you can start to understand, feel the tip of that shoulder blade scoop in a little bit. Then we can do both arms, all right? So we'll come on up to kneeling. Swing both arms out in front. Both shoulder blades slide up. Externally rotate your arms. So you're rolling the arms away. See if you can feel the shoulder blade tips scoop into your armpits. And then just one time lower the arms. We're going to take this into downward facing dog. Swing your arms forward, shoulder blades slide up. Shoulder blade tips scoop in a little bit. Now, one more piece, lift the back of your rib cage up. So as you inhale, can you feel the back of the ribs lift up? And then exhale, pull your hip creases back, reach your arms out, plant your palms. Come to your tabletop, lift your knees, downward facing dog. So bend your knees, take your hip creases back, figure out, feel it out, build your shape. Try and let your head hang. Now bend your knees quite a bit. Feeling your hands plant into the floor. Can you feel your shoulder blades? If you can't feel them, just kind of see them, right? Like you can use some imagery, notice your shoulder blades, and then see if you can feel that external rotation of your arms. Like you're going to roll your arms away from you and see if you can feel the shoulder blades spread a little bit on your upper back. And take 2 breaths. Keep your knees pretty bent. And then when you feel your exhale, say, hey, thank you, exhale. And then we're going to walk your feet up to your hands or your hands back to your feet. And then ground down and come all the way on up. Sweep your arms up. Exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Just hang out here for 2 breaths. And then rotate your arms so your thumbs are in and your pinkies are out. With an exhale, sweep your arms out and then rotate the arms so your palms face forward and sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, pull your arms back down. Inhale, lead with your pinkies. Concentrate, feel right where the arm rotates in the shoulder and pull the rib cage up. Sweet, and lower the arm. One more. So there's this really sweet place of meditation right in the middle of that, right? When you take the arms up and you feel that rotation. And you lift the back of the ribs up. Great. When your arms are up, bend your knees. Pull your hip creases back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms and come all the way back up. Exhale, arms to your side. Inhale, when you're ready, lead from your pinkies, rotate the arms, that moment of mindfulness right there where you rotate, bend the knees and fold forward. Inhale with your breath, come all the way on up and start to feel a little more of that rotation in the shoulder and the arms come down. One more here on your own. So I'm going to be quiet. You can move here from your breath. We all come back up. We stand in that mountain pose and just give ourselves 3 breaths to reset. You might come back to feeling the earth beneath you, feeling that strength and stability, holding your skeleton nice and still, be with your breath. And when you feel your next exhale, stepping your feet wide. So just take your feet wide. You can face whichever way you want. So if you don't want to look at me and you prefer to look out at the loons over the lake, you can look out at the lake. All right. So we're going to take your left leg and roll it in slightly and roll your right leg out. Hands on your hips. So coming back to engaged breathing, stability, A lot like that constructive rest pose tabletop. Ears, shoulders, and hips in symmetry. Might feel a little bit like a plank pose, nice and strong. We're going to inhale, bend your right knee. And then wait for your exhale. When you feel your exhale, straighten your right knee. So moving from the breath 2 more times. Then the next time, so maybe your 4th time that your knee is bent, we're going to pause. Great. Feeling your hips. With an inhale, lift that hip bowl up. So take your pelvic bowl and kind of lift it up out of your legs. Exhale, we're going to tip, put your right elbow on your right knee. We're going to do the first one a little bit slower. Left arm's going to reach right out in front about as high as your shoulder. Now externally rotate your arm. So that's going to roll your thumb up towards the ceiling. Great. And then sweep the arm in line with your ear, with your left ear. Good. And then press that right elbow into the right thigh bone. Lift your chest, extended side angle, 3 breaths. Your left palm will be facing the floor. There you go. Sweet. Feel it out. Shift what needs to shift. Adjust what maybe needs to adjust. Feel your inhale and come all the way back on up. Hands come to your hips. Right leg rolls in. Left leg rolls out. Great. Inhale, left knee bends. Exhale, straight. 2 more with your breath. Next time your left knee is bent, pausing. Feeling that stability. So come back, anchoring your legs into the earth. Inhale, lift the pelvic bowl up. Then we tip at the hip, left elbow to left thigh bone. If this is a little much for your hip, you can always put your hand down and open the hip a little bit. Right arm reaches straight out like you're doing a handshake, right? And then we externally rotate it so your thumb is up and sweep the arm in line with your ear or your chin. Palm faces down. 3 breaths. Feeling, noticing what you notice. With your inhale, grounding to reach all the way on up. Okay, then we're going to put your hands on your hips, steer your legs a little more forward. Get nice and solid into that center of gravity. So lower belly, so navel to pubic bone. Get nice and strong there through your legs. And then it's hip flexion. We're just going to tip over into like a wide leg forward fold and come back up 3 times. Like you're just lubricating your hips. Just lead from the pelvis as you tip. Let your head follow your hips. So hips, ribs, head. Great. And then we're going to come all the way back on up. Great. Left leg's going to roll in, right leg's going to roll out. Hands back on your hips. When you're ready, from the stability of your legs into the ground, bend your right knee. Great, little different this time. We're gonna exhale, sweep your arms out and up overhead. So you're gonna reach your arms all the way on up. Great, anchor into the ground, down creates up. So as you anchor down, see if you can inhale, feel the pelvis and the rib cage lift up. Exhale, tip back to your side angle, right elbow to right knee, or maybe you're going to straighten this right arm. You can straighten the right arm on the inside of the leg and then press the arm and the leg together. So your left arm, great. Then it sweeps in line with that ear again, right? So can you feel your left arm a little bit like downward facing dog arm? It's rolling away and that left top shoulder blade scooping into the armpit a little bit. Great, more challenging. Twist a little bit and open the chest a little more towards the ceiling. You got it, 2 breaths. And then push down to pull up and come all the way on up. Woohoo, right leg rolls in. Left leg rolls out. Great. Hands on your pelvis, bend that left knee, build your foundation. Nice, sweep your arms out to come up. Pause, reconnect to the earth, to your grounding. With an inhale, the hips and the ribs lift. And then from an exhale, we tip left elbow to the left knee. Or maybe you're straightening this left arm, bringing it on the inside of the leg. Down creates up, stretch that right arm up. You got it. And then it rotates and comes in line with the ear. So the right palm faces down. Fabulous. And maybe you spin your chest a little bit up towards the ceiling. 2 breaths. Notice how it feels. Adjust how you need to adjust. And come all the way back up. Hands to your hips. Steer both legs. Knees forward. Pause. Reconnect your legs into the earth. If you're here in the building, just take a moment to look out at the lake if that's the way you're facing. Soften your gaze. If you're at home, in your office, softening your eyes, softening your face, soften your chest. Be with your breath. 3 breaths. Just feel your exhale. And with your next exhale, stepping your feet together and walking up towards the front of your mat. Arms hang down by your side, thumbs in, pinkies out. Inhale, sweep your arms up. See if you can come back to that place of arm rotation. Reaching up, exhale, bend your knees, fold forward. Check in with yourself as you fold forward. There doesn't need to be any pain in your low back. So if you need to bend your knees more, do so. Then if you'd like, inhale, lift your chest, look out in front of you a little bit. And with your exhale, we're going to step back and either build tabletop or downward facing dog. So give yourself 2 or 3 breaths to build that shape. Then with an exhale, we're all going to come down to tabletop. And we're going to build a really strong table here. Okay, so give yourself a moment to put some of the pieces together. The pieces include engaged breathing, core activation awareness, and then your shoulder blades are pinned on your back. Your shoulder blades need to be really strong on your back. And you could feel that back heart under the shoulder blade down your tricep into your hands. Okay. Take 2 or 3 breaths. If you need more challenge, float your knees up or step your legs back to plank. So you can make this more challenging if you need. You can be in a plank. We're all going to push the floor away and think of the spine going up to the ceiling. You can be in floating table. Awesome. Back to good old tabletop if you were in one of those other places. Okay, then just pull your butt back towards your heels. And then you're gonna pull yourself forward. So push your arms from your upper back. So upper back shoulder connection down your arms. You're gonna push that into the earth and pull your chest forward. And you're gonna push the upper back through the arm down and pull your hips back. So the whole time you're moving forward and back, keep pushing into the floor. Good. As I look around, it's nice to see people moving with the strength connection into the upper back. Good, one more. Then we're gonna push back and build downward facing dog. When you get to your dog, take a full inhale. And then exhale, walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold and step just your left foot back and bring your left knee down. Okay, so if you're here and you need to pad this, you can roll your mat. If you're at home and you need a blanket or some more padding, run and grab it. And then we come up and try and build this 90-90. And I always feel this takes a little more challenge from the core than say being down here. Okay, so again, back to that awareness of that core from the shoulder area all the way to the hips. Your hands can rest either on the knee or on the hip, and then we just rock a little bit forward and back. Trying to open up this left hip flexor. Don't let go of the core strength. So your legs need to connect strong into the hip sockets and you're still engaged. Okay, if you want a little different stretch, feeling, strength challenge, you come back to that 90-90. You find symmetry from the shoulders to the hips, and then you're gonna tip your hips back a little bit and press that left thigh bone back and get that stretch. Try not to flail the ribs forward and just soften through your throat and your jaw for 2 breaths. And then with an exhale, stack your shoulders back over your hips, come forward, and then you're gonna step your back foot forward. We're gonna inhale, lift the chest, get a little bit of extension. You got it. Exhale, fold, right leg comes back. Right knee comes down. Do what you need to do to build that 90-90 lunge. And then you can slide forward a little bit. Slide back. Legs connect strong into the hip sockets. You're staying nice and connected to your low abdominals, your mid and upper abdominals, and maybe even your upper back. If you want to come back and do the tilt back, you build that 90-90. Ooh, go gentle and slow. Take your hip bones, tip them back, and then press that right thigh bone. Go slow, listen. Your body is going to talk to you. And you're going to gently respond and move and do what's needed. 3 breaths. After 3 breaths, we stack things back up. Fold forward. Step that back foot forward. Ooh, that one was a doozy. Lift your chest. Exhale, fold. And then step back, build your downward facing dog, your tabletop or your child's pose. So big fork in the road. Where do you want to go? Maybe it's child's pose. Maybe it's tabletop. We're gonna give ourselves 3 more breaths. And with your next exhale, we're gonna come to table. All right, so we're gonna all move differently here. So we wanna feel the connection of our spine with strength. So we're gonna try and resist moving the spine. The spine is going to move, it has to move, but it's just not gonna flop around, okay? We're gonna try and resist moving the spine. So remind yourself, my spine has to move, okay? So you're gonna take your hip creases and push them back towards your heels. And this will start to feel a little bit like a child's pose. Then it's just continuing what we were working on a little bit ago. You're gonna push from your upper back through your arms into the ground and pull your chest forward. Now, as your chest comes forward, some of us might be going more to say like a swan from Pilates feel or more of an up dog from yoga feel. And then you're gonna really push and you pull back or push back. And then you're just gonna do this pretty slow so that you have a relationship to the movement and the resistance of your spine. So yes, your spine has to move. And you're just gonna kind of resist moving the spine, adding that internal resistance. You might be coming up to like an up dog. You might be pushing into the top of the feet and even lifting your knees up in that shape, okay? So just move from a place of strength in relationship to breathing. We'll do 2 more. After 2 more, we will end back in a child's pose. Now, if child's pose isn't your jam, you will roll onto your back and draw your knees into your chest. And then either in that constructive rest pose on your back with your knees in your chest, or just good old constructive rest pose or child's pose, still the bones and take 3 breaths. And with your next exhale, coming all the way on up, we'll come to crisscross applesauce and have a seat. So if crisscross applesauce isn't comfortable, you'll find another comfortable shape. All right, let's just bring your hands onto your thigh bones and give ourselves 2 breaths to just anchor the thigh bones and sit bones into the earth. So taking your rib cage area, okay, in between your rib cage area is your thoracic spine, thoracic rotation. We're gonna twist over to the right and take 3 breaths. So as you rotate that thoracic spine to the right, try to keep your belly button facing the center. Careful that you're not over twisting your neck or head. And then all the way over to the left. Pelvis and your belly button don't really need to move a whole lot here. With your exhale, one more time, all the way around to the right. all the way around to the left. And then back to center. Hands can come down on your thigh bones or your knees. And then back to the earth. So feeling the ground, you can even put your hands down on the floor. And coming all the way full circle to the earth beneath you, the stability, the strength of the ground. And from that strength, we can start to practice letting go a little bit. You don't have to totally let go. That might be really messy. You might just let go a little bit. All right, so you can stay here, or if you prefer, come onto your back. We always take the last few minutes for self-care. So you can come here and sit and breathe. You can come and roll onto your back. If you feel there's some extra stretching you need to do, by all means, take some time to do some extra stretching. Check back in. Noticing what you notice from a place of mindful self-compassion and kindness. We'll take the last minute here in silence. Noticing what you notice. And bringing some noticing to you the stillness of your skeleton of your body, feeling, being with your breath, 2 full breaths. And can you be with your breathing as you start some really simple, easy little movements like wiggling your fingers? Can you just wiggle your fingers and feel your breath at the same time? Can you wiggle your toes and feel your breath at the same time? And then if you're on your back, maybe you want to take a full body stretch or draw your knees into your chest. And then we slowly come all the way on up to sitting. Let's interlace your hands in front and just take a stretch up. Thanks everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you have a really fabulous week and maybe I'll see you on Friday. Thanks everyone.